Distance doesn't separate people, but silence does. If you keep that silence and you don't talk or you don't listen, then the relationship automatically. And because after that, the words that are being spoken that can't be put back into the mouth, so it's better to speak with caution and care. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I am CS Jaspreet. If you're new to my channel, I make educational and informative videos for CS, CS and CMA students as well as members, as well as I make planning and organizing videos. If you've not seen those videos, I'll be putting in the I button above or in the description box below. Now, today I was thinking about the communication skills we all possess or lack of communication skills that can create lots of problems in our daily as well as in our professional lives. So today I'll be telling you how you can improve your communication skills and make your relationships better at work as well as at personal space. So starting with the first question, that is, what is communication? Now, if I am saying something, that is called talking, or if I'm listening something, that is called listening. But communication is a two-way traffic. That means you are listening also and you're speaking also. Either listening or either speaking does not constitute a good communication. Communication completes when you say as well as you listen. So I'll be telling you 7 tips to improve your communication skills. So the first tip for improving communication skills is be a good listener. Speaking is easy, but listening is difficult, but it's very important to understand the other person. Now, the basic need of a human being is to understand and to be understood. And without listening, you cannot understand anybody. It is for both the levels, at personal space also and in professional level also. You should have that skill of listening to other people, to listening to other employees or to listening to other family members. Then only you can establish good relationships. So listening plays a very important role in establishing good relationships at work as well as at home. As per Jeff Hood, distance doesn't separate people, but silence does. If you keep that silence and you don't talk or you don't listen, then the relationship automatically dies, whether at work or at home. And a good listener always knows what the other person was speaking. Sometimes some people involved in loose talks and they also don't know what they are communicating or what they are saying, but the person who was listening to them always remembers what they said. So it's always beneficial to be a good listener, because as per Plutarch, he said, know how to listen and you will benefit even when they were talking bad. So it is very important, even when the other person is talking badly, you get something out of it, as you will know where that person stands or what that person perceives or thinks about you or about anybody else for whom they are talking. So listening always completes the communication. It's not just saying, it's listening. And listening doesn't mean you're lending an ear to somebody. It means you're lending your brain. You should be making an eye contact with the other person. You are trying to understand the other person by listening to what problems or what grievances they have. Whether you are at home with some family members, by listening to them or by listening what the other person has to say to you, you always establish a good relationship, and as well as at the professional level or at. Moving to the second tip, that is, engage your listeners or know your audience. Now, while communicating, you should know with whom you are communicating or with whom you are talking, and it's very important to let them speak as well. It is a very important communication tip. If you will not let the other person speak, there will be no communication. There will just be talking by one person and listening by other. Now, as I said earlier, that you have to talk as well as you have to listen, then only the communication completes. So you should engage the people you're talking with or your audience or the people you're trying to communicate with. You should let them speak as well, let them communicate as well, and you should appreciate their point of view as well. Then only a good communication establishes when you speak and listen as well, and the other person also participates and lends his or her point of view. The third tip is try to understand the non-verbal communication. Now, communication is not anything that can only be put in words. Words as well as actions constitute communication. Now, if you take an example of a baby, that also communicates through his actions. He tries to tell you what he feels or what he wants. And if you want to understand, you try to understand what he's trying to communicate. In the same way, as a person, you should know what the other person is trying trying to tell you from their body postures, from your body movements, body language, facial expressions, everything. These all things play a very important role. Like, a language is not a barrier in terms of communication. Words are also not a barrier. It's not just that if you want to say something or if you want to communicate, you just have to put it in your words. No, people communicate through their actions more than they communicate through their words. And is, think before you speak. Now, don't rush with your answers. Even in professional level or at personal level, don't rush with your answers. Don't be very curious to answer back. First, listen to the other person. Try to analyze what the person has spoken or what he's trying to communicate with you. So then only you answer back. Take your time, pause with intervals, and think what you are speaking. Especially when you're talking at the professional level, you just can't answer back without thinking. That will not be in your benefit. That will not be beneficial for you. So it's very important to think. And when it comes to personal levels or professional levels, it's very important to know that taste your words before you spit them on others. It's a very famous quote. But if you think that your words are poisonous enough that if they are spitted on you, you will get poisoned, don't spit them on others, as it will lead to insulting, embarrassing, or these conversations do not end up anywhere. So always remember that you don't have to answer back the other person the moment the question ends. Think what the other person is asking from you and then answer back, that too in a dignified and a proper manner. And because after that, the words that are being spoken, that can't be put back into the mouth. So it's better to speak with caution and care after analyzing what you have to speak. The next step is ask questions, don't judge. Don't assume or don't presume what the other person is doing or what the other person is thinking about you. Go and ask them. This is how communication gets better. This is how communication makes any relationship better. When you go and ask the other person and don't get, carried away by whatever the other person is saying about someone. It is very important to go and ask the other person the questions, whatever you're not understanding. Don't presume or don't assume on your own that, okay, these things are happening or this is my assumption or someone XYZ told me this, so this must be true. This is not the way communication works, and this is not the way a good communicator deals with the problems or the things. You should go and ask the other person that what is your problem or what are the things. This is something that I am not understanding. Please explain. People form their image in their minds by listening to other people who might not be speaking good about you. Now, in those cases, even the communications happen, they don't lend to any solutions or they don't lend to any direction, because that person has made your image in mind. Because that person is judging you through his skill of assumption or presumption. He or she has made an image of you in their minds, or someone else has made that image of you in their minds. So then the communication becomes just impossible. Even if you are trying to explain yourself, even if you are trying to say anything, that person will not listen to you. So if you want to improve your communication skill, it's very important to go and ask questions wherever you have doubt, and don't judge or don't presume anything. So the 7th tip is emotional awareness. Know your own emotions as well as the people around you when you communicate. It is very important when you're speaking anything, when you're communicating anything, you should be aware of the emotions of the person with whom you are communicating with or with whom you are speaking. Now, whenever you leave for office, obviously you don't keep your emotions back. You try to, but definitely they go alongside you. So you should be very much aware while communicating that your emotions should not come in the path of your communication with your employees, as well as back at home, your emotions that you took from the office, that shouldn't become a barrier in your communication with your family members. You have to strike that balance. So for that, you should be very much aware of your own emotions, but as much as you value your own emotions, you should be aware and valuing the person you are communicating with of that person's emotion as well. So emotional awareness while communicating is also an important factor. These were my 7 tips for improving your communication skills. Apply them in your day-to-day life, in your personal space as well as in your professional space. So I hope you found the video informative, and if you liked the video, please hit the like button and don't leave without subscribing my channel. Share the video with your friends, family and colleagues, and follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Pinterest as well. Bye.